Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this episode of the Pave It Forward podcast. My name is Phil Metzger, and with me is Kevin Gray, and we are here to help leaders in the paving industry who are looking to run more efficiently, meet their ideal customer, and improve the lives of those around them through meaningful work. Kevin, how are you doing today?
Good, man. Sun's out, guns out. We're back to work this week, man. It's been mid 60s. It got up to 70 Wednesday, I believe, man. We got crews out. I got to run screw yesterday for a little bit just because I wanted to. I kicked somebody off the paver. I'm like, let me get some reps here. I just missed the smell of that hot rock, man. So I'm good. We're out paving. That makes me happy.
Heck yeah. I believe you all got quite a bit of rain there and have a bunch of soft ground. So hopefully spring comes along, at least starts to warm up, and we get some things going here. I know on the advertising side, everything is it's leading towards this week being the official kickoff of Let's Kick Butt. No more just kind of getting some jobs in and seeing how we do. Let's fill up the schedule and get to work.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. We've been it changed, like especially here in Kentucky, man. The seasons change like almost overnight. It goes from winter to spring, and then summer basically straight into winter almost. It's like we're right back at it. It's hard for me to believe it's already March 4th. I mean, it's like what happened to the off season? What happened to the winter break there? So we were extremely busy. We had a lot of obligations and trips and retreats, and which were amazing, but it came and went very quickly. So we're right back in the saddle.
Yeah, that's right. If the retreat sounds great that you all took, I would suggest people out there go check out K&L's material. They are the ones that put it on, and is it J&L? That's correct.
What's that? K&L and JB Lines.
JB Lines. That's right. So I know you guys had a good time, and later that week we were presenting at NPE, and I really want to thank everyone that attended our National Pavement Expo class. We were hoping for at least 10 individuals to be there to bring value, and there was a great turnout, and people were interested. People had some great questions. Mike Rosen of Let's Pave came up there and even helped us with our presentation unknowingly, but he did a great job, and
put him on the spot.
Put him on the spot, and he was a great participant. He really gave us some
insight. I knew he would.
Yeah, you were confident in that, and we were confident that we could find someone else to help and show our example in there as well. But Mike stepped up, and he really came through, and we actually were able to make some content that's now on YouTube, and he addresses what his national company, Let's Pave, what they look for in their subcontractors. And it's just a quick 5-minute interview during our class. And so you can head over to YouTube if you want to see that. But Mike, thanks for participating.
Yeah, I was shocked, dude. We have almost 75 people show up in the class there.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah, it's for me personally, stepping in that position. I'm pretty sure it was clear that I was ready to speak because I was about ready to explode. I could not rattle off some information fast enough. So that was my first time kind of stepping out, and I definitely got to feel what a lot of clients like you kind of go through, and as far as getting in front of the camera and talking to people like that. So
how did that feel for you? Like what first time speaking like that, and you prepared 90% of the content that we shared, and I think you did a very good job delivering the message. Definitely got deep into the analytical and data side of it. But yeah, I mean, how did you feel going up there on stage? I mean, what was going through your mind? What was going through your body?
It was interesting because I think I had just finished the sentence on how my background is in audio engineering and getting signal from A to B, and then the microphone started feeding back. So that was an interesting thing. So we had to basically raise our voices for the rest of class. But once we got into it, I was so excited, and I'm glad that the pacing was pretty good. I wish we had left more time for questions. But with us not knowing exactly how many participants there were, we of course wanted to have enough material to bring the value for a good majority of the time. But I honestly loved it. I'm certainly glad to have my little part to contribute to the industry as far as marketing and how to get your genuine message out there. And I'm not sure there's going to be a whole lot of other opportunities besides, maybe in a hosting capacity or something like that, for me to really get passionate about what I do on a daily basis. And I've just put so much research and time into just trying to figure it out. So it was really amazing to talk to everyone in the industry and see, especially the business owners, their faces kind of light up and really make some connections. And it really kind of validated everything that you and I kind of try to do with these efforts that we're putting forward. Of course, all the comments and constructive criticism for both the podcast and everything else we do is great, but to be in person, especially after COVID and everything, and just being able to meet these business owners, it was a heck of an opportunity. And yeah, couldn't be more grateful to those that showed up.
Yeah, man. That's you're typically the man behind the camera, and the one kind of coaching me along and putting me on the spotlight and in our company and our people and our culture and all that stuff. And pretty cool for you to be able to step on the other side of that camera. Let Charlie run that camera for a minute. Let you showcase a lot of the research and the knowledge you've acquired over the past 3 to 5 years as we've grown this thing together. So
that's
proud
right.
of you, man.
Well, thank you. Cool. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. But and on that line of the education point, I do want to turn this back to the people out there listening and just to quickly tell them about our Solid Foundation program. We're going to be having a webinar next Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific. That's March 11th. And it's just going to be an overview, a 15-minute overview of the program. And what we will do is leave the rest of the time for question and answer. But real quickly, what this Solid Foundation program is through Pave It Forward Consulting that Kevin and I run. It's a 3-month program. We will meet we will have 6 group meetings with the 3 to 5 chosen participants. And in those meetings, we will have some predetermined topics like office operations, paving operations, equipment assessment, and things like that. And the other part of those meetings, we will actually dedicate to structured group discussion on the current topics and problems we're having within our own companies or areas for potential improvement. So you'll get kind of that classmate type feel and also be able to ask some other people in different parts of the country, but in the same industry, how they approach some different things. This includes also a 3-day visit for you and a business associated to ADC Paving to observe, a 3-day visit from Kevin and myself to visit your company to just overlook your operations and get a feel for how you best run. Then at the end of the program, you'll get a 3-day visit from Mirror Marketing. That's my company and the company that ADC Paving uses. And we will create 3 pieces of content that you can use in your own marketing going forward. And this is really an operations course that will help you prioritize your year with strategies that should last a long time. And we're also going to provide at the end that content foundation, which is aimed at your ideal client and displaying to them how you might solve their problems. Our goal here is to really find the right candidates and truly be one of the best investments they ever make in their paving company. So if you want some more information or just have questions for us pertaining to that, that's next Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. 2 p.m. Eastern. Well, excuse me, Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, that's why I turned around and checking the calendars. Yeah, it's we're at 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Eastern. Flash on the screen right here. We're gonna blast it. Yeah, when we're running Eastern, Mountain, and Pacific time.
I know. Yeah.
But thank you for the correction.
We're gonna run that live. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're going to run that live. Charlie's going to be on the controls, making sure that everyone gets seen and heard. We'll just have a brief presentation and conversation. Then please come armed with your questions because we really do want to be the best investment that your company can make and really make some lasting impact.
We've only got, what do we have? One seat left, maybe
yes.
2. We've got.
Yes.
We've got folks already committed. And then when are we going to be starting? When's this group start?
This will be the end of March. What we'll do is we have the second round of interviews. We just want to have a conversation with you next week for those interested and that we haven't already talked to. And just to make sure that you might be a good fit and we might be a good fit for you, just to make sure that relationship is going. And then the following week, we will make the announcements. So the last week of March, we will really get the ball rolling. And by the 1st of April, we'll be well into the program. So we're going to determine what the best dates might be for us to come to you and to get these visits scheduled. Kevin is still running a paving company, and my company is dedicating the next 4 months to this project. So we're not taking on any other major projects on the side. So you will have us on the research, but of course we need to get our schedules together and make sure that we're going to find out what works best for everyone involved.
Yeah, and that second round interviews, I mean, it's super important. I mean, we want to make sure we're getting the right, kind of folks and companies with the right vision, values, and goals that we are capable of helping people reach. We definitely don't want to set anybody up for failure, and we bring in anybody, people that aren't maybe quite ready for this next step. We want to make sure this is an investment, and we obviously want to guarantee that you get the proper return on this investment. So we're taking this very seriously, making sure that we marry the right kind of person first and foremost, and then company with what we're offering for success. So yeah, looking forward to it. Like I said, there's only a spot or two left. So 2:00 next Friday, hop on the webinar and we'll show you what it's all about.
That's right. We are certainly looking forward to it. But today we're going to get on to talking about trucking. And this has been a surprising topic to me that's come up quite a bit. Obviously, it's a large investment for your company, and there's a lot of different ways to handle it. But first of all, you have to justify it. And I'm sure knowing as much as you can going into the process would definitely help with what decisions you make for you and your company. So that's kind of where we were coming from. And
hey, before we dive into this, Phil, I just want to, speaking about trucking here, I want to give our our thoughts and prayers. Our trucking manager, Chris McKinley, who we all know as Scooby, had a massive heart attack while we were in Charlotte. Actually died on the table twice when Cindy actually took him to the hospital. He survived. Luckily, he had 100% blockage, and he's at home recovering, hoping to get back to work here. And I told him take as long as he needs. I said he's at home. He's like, I want to get back to work, and I'm worried I'm going to lose my job. And I was like, your job is never going to be in jeopardy here because you suffered from an illness or family tragedy, accident, anything like that.
Sure.
Take care of yourself. Your job's not going anywhere. Get healthy. So he's hoping to be back in a handful of weeks here. And I just just want to, if he's watching or friends, family, his, we're certainly thinking about him, praying for him, and truly blessed and fortunate that he is still with us. I mean, Cindy witnessed this, and she said it was as you can imagine, one of the most crazy, I don't even know the word to use, just crazy experiences she's ever seen in her life. So
yeah,
thoughts and prayers to you, Scoobs.
Absolutely, Scoob. Yeah, we'll be thinking about you. It might take an entire team to try to keep your truck clean while you're gone, but first things first, let's get you back healthy, man. Your smile is always welcome around. So Scoob, maybe you can be yelling at the radio or phone or whatever you're listening on, and Kevin at everything he's getting wrong on this. But
he needs to be sitting right here in this one. I'll tell you that.
That's true, and I bet you that's coming down the line.
That man's been trucking about as long as I've been on this earth. So,
yes, sir. Well, how many dump trucks are you running there at ADC, Kev, and what have you kind of got to say just about your general fleet there?
Currently, we are running 4 dump trucks. We've got 4 triaxles, 3 international brand HX 620 Big Daddies, and then we've got the 1 Mac triaxle. And actually just ordered ordered 2 more. Just ordered 2 more internationals. We bought the Mac last year. We've been a huge fan of international for years, largely in part to and this is huge in business, largely in part to the relationship with the salesperson I have over there. Is creating value with relationships. I mean, obviously your equipment and your truck, you want your trucks and equipment and things, that you put out in the field to operate to be extreme quality as well. That's super important to us. But we've been largely favored towards international just because of the relationship with our sales rep over there, Chris Mann, and it really took a turn. We dipped and dabbled with international. Like I said, I mean, I've been in this business 12 years, and up until the last 3 or 4, we were buying. Started off with junk with 1994, 95, 96. GMC top kick single axles that smoked like a son of a gun, and breaking down every other day, and just basically a pickup truck with a 10-ton capacity on the back of it, for lack of a better term. And then for the 5, 6, 7 years after that, we were buying used. We're like, man, we can't spend 160, 175, $200,000 on a dump truck. It's crazy. It's just a dump truck, and so it wasn't until the last, and we had some bad luck with some used international trucks that we bought. We bought a couple single axles that just gave us fits with the old engine and transmission combination. And recently, I think it's just within the last 3 years, they made a switch over to a Cummins with an Allison transmission. Got rid of the let's talk bad about it, but I think they discontinued the drivetrain assembly, the Navistar option that used to come in those. And they've really put together a nice truck that is, that stands up with your Max and your Kenworths, and some of your heavier duty, well-known, respected brands that have been building triaxle dump trucks for our industry for a long time. Your Western Stars, your Peterbilts, so we've been very happy with this new HX line of internationals. This isn't a promotion for international by any means, but we have 3 of those, and we bought a Mac, a Mac Granite last season, which is what Scooby's driving. He's a Mac fanatic. It's kind of like those guys that grow up. You got your Ford guys, you got your Chevy guys, your Dodge guys. Like, they're all pretty darn comparable. I mean, it's pickup trucks, right? I mean,
sure.
Just depending on maybe how you were raised or where you grew up or what your daddy liked or whatever, you're a Ford guy or a Chevy guy. It's similar in the dump truck world. There's 3 or 4 really solid brands, but we wanted to compare the side by side comparison with the international HXs and this Mac Granite. And they both, they both, they're pretty comparable, man. They stand up. The Mac was, I think, another 10, I think those international HXs were running 165, 170,000. The Mac was 180, 185. So it was a little more expensive, but you get what you pay for. And so we love both of those brands. The Mac that Scooby drives has been awesome. And the only reason I bought these was we just bought 2 brand new internationals that should be here in the next 2 to 4 weeks, respectively. We've got one coming in 2 weeks, we got another one coming in 4 weeks. And the reason we went that route was because they were the only new dump trucks, probably this side of the Mississippi, that we could locate. And we're just so fortunate that 2 orders fell through, and we were able to get a hold of these. And one of them's black with a green stripe down the side of it that we're going to have to do an orange overlay on. The other one is a red truck that a red cab that we're going to have to put a black wrap on. But it doesn't matter. Like, you can't find trucks. You can hardly find used dump trucks now, and used dump trucks are about as expensive as a new one. I've seen trucks out there with 40, 50, 80,000 miles on them that they're still north of 150 grand. And just to tell you a little bit about this economy of the trucking world and the construction world and industry in general right now, the internationals that I bought, knock on, hindsight's always crystal clear, my friend.
Sure.
Wish I would have bought, because I knew this growth was coming. Wish I would have bought 2 to 4 more trucks, last year when I bought the other truck. And because they were 175 last year, I dropped almost 2 1/4 on these 2 new trucks. They've gone up $50,000. I mean, you're talking, crazy. I mean, almost a 25% increase. overnight, basically. So
yeah, I noticed that a lot of those places and
nuts.
even car dealerships, they're so low on inventory that they're basically parking the inventory sideways at the very front of their lot so that their lot doesn't look empty. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
behind those cars and trucks, there's nothing there. I mean, there's a few more,
nothing.
but that's it.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
crazy.
so you made the jump up from you went ahead and decided to order those 2 additional trucks. Obviously,
Looking for two more.
yeah, and you're anticipating this growth. Are you already at a point where you need them going into the rest of March, or like are
No,
you
no, because I mean we take March. We take March, a little slower pace. We've got most of the same crew back now. We do have a lot of new faces this year, but historically it's usually 80% of our core group back, and then we're adding, I don't know, 2 to 5 greenhorns, if you will, into the fallout. We rarely hire people with experience. Just don't have very good luck with that in our culture.
Mhm.
But so we usually spend March, first 4 to 6 weeks. We'll get, especially on the prep and the paving side, we'll kind of just run everybody together. We're teaching different aspects of prep work. We're teaching different aspects of the paving work. We're starting to do some of that cross training stuff. We're making sure people get an opportunity to try different jobs, see what they like, see where they're comfortable, see what they're good at. We're trying to field the best team out there possible, make sure we got the right people playing the right positions. So no, there wasn't a necessity, an immediate need for these 2 additional trucks, but the workload that is coming at us. I mean, it's like I said, I'm shopping for another 2. We're trying to get up to 8 triaxles because we'll I would imagine, I don't know if it'll be all season, but there will be a period during the summer. It may be a 6-week period. It could be a 4-month period that we're running. There's going to be 2 pavers moving for us to reach our goals and get the amount of work done that we need to get done. And we have got to feed material to those pavers. So,
Sure. Yeah, that kind of leads me into my next thought, and it was with obviously you talk about the heavy investment that it is to purchase one of these trucks, and obviously you're on a growth pattern and have been in the industry for years now, so you understand the thought process that goes into the judgment call on when to purchase. Can you maybe just go over some of the thoughts and reasoning, maybe as you were purchasing those, we'll say like second, third, and fourth newer trucks? Like when did you say we need this? Like, what were there any telltale signs in your production or business where you said the risk of paying more for this equipment is, in my opinion, now worth it because we need it?
yeah, well, that the what really switched my thinking uh, to buying new only was I finally figured out and really understood what the cost of being broke down was. Not being able to feed material to our pavers. You got 4 dump trucks and 2 of them are down. Well, if you can't rent a truck, and right now and we'll get into this in a second. I think it's a question coming up. I mean, there's the big boys in town who own plants and are running 70 to 100 dump trucks a day for their crews. They're 30, 40, 50 trucks short a day on their stuff. So there's no we're getting, we're one of the smaller, not smaller, I mean, we're smaller than them. We're not at the top of the list to get rental trucks in town, lease trucks, to be able to call and say, hey, I need 2 dump trucks. So the cost of being broke, having those trucks broken down, is immense. And you buy new, yeah, the payment's more, but you look at the course of a year, how much you're spending on the payment, um, versus what you would be paying for a truck that's used and kind of worn out, that's getting worse gas mileage. It's what are the maintenance bills involved with that older truck? But at the end of the day, you're spending, and the cost of being up every day. Those trucks aren't breaking down. If they are, we've got such a good relationship with the dealerships, and we've got warranties, and we've got all that stuff to where they're getting those trucks in and out, and they're back on the road almost immediately. The cost of ownership, the cost that we gain, the revenue, or the margin we gain by having trucks not to be broken down. Um, it's it's astronomical how much of a 4-point turnaround it is to have new that's consistent and solid, going to stand up for you every day versus uh, battling a truck that may or may not, that break down. Even if it's just a few days a month. I mean, it adds up very, very quickly. So.
Sure. I imagine that avoiding the headache and the shifting of schedules and the pushing back of other activities because of broken down trucks and man hours.
It affects
doing
so
nothing.
many other things in the business too. It puts it adds work to almost every other function or division of the company too. You start canceling jobs or having to move the schedule around. It's affecting the office. It's now we've got emails and correspondence having to go out. It's affecting the salesperson. It's affecting the foreman, which in turn affect it's not just the cost of that truck being broke down. It's the amount of stress and workload pressure that gets put on the entire organization. Doesn't seem like it on the surface, but come inside these walls and see what happens when you say, "Oh crap, we got a truck on the side of the road."
Right.
Stuff starts happening immediately.
Yeah. So it sounds like just, if you're starting to get those gears turning about purchasing a new equipment, purchasing it for the first time, or anything in that arena, is you may want to take in the cost and then the other side costs for using an old used truck, a rent, or purchasing your own if they're available new. So you may just want to kind of sit down with all those things in mind. Now, do you all go ahead?
No, go ahead. I was saying if you can, if you've got trucks that serve your business well enough. I mean, I understand. We're fortunate. We've been in business. I've been in business 12 years. I have amazing credit because I've always, we've paid our bills and we've done what we say we're going to do. I don't think I've ever been late on a bill, on a loan bill in my career. So not everybody can go out and buy new dump trucks all the time whenever they want. Like I could say I want one here tomorrow, and it not literally be here tomorrow, but the paperwork could be signed and it'd be on the way. But if renting trucks, leasing trucks, if you can find, like I said, the companies in town, we're 100 trucks short in this city right now. So if you can find a truck, that's not a bad alternative either, until you can afford to buy a new truck. It's tough, man. You have to really run the numbers here, but I almost would advise to rent lease trucks from a trucking company to serve your crews and your company, instead of going out and taking a gamble on a used truck, because people aren't getting rid of trucks unless there's something wrong with that truck. Like, you don't get rid of a truck that runs every day and stands up for your company. Like, right? It's
sure
the reason that truck's being sold 90% of the time. So you're almost better off to rent. That way you're putting the liability, the payment, the maintenance, the fuel, and all that on the person you're renting the truck from, and you can worry about your business. And
sure.
If they break down, hopefully they've got a truck they can send you replace, or they're they're then worrying about the headaches that ensue afterwards. So
sure. One question that we've received is talking about tracking and GPS in your trucks and knowing where your trucks are out in the field, and
huge.
Yeah. Can you tell us about what you use and then how you use that as far as the trucking and even in your other work vehicles if needed?
Yeah, we use Verizon. I think it's still Verizon. Kimberly's sitting here with me. It's Verizon Reveal, and we obviously got it for security purposes, and we got it for be able to track our assets. But the main reason we got it, it really helps out with our logistics and production. Like, we can glance at that app at any point during the day. We know exactly where our trucks are, where they're headed, where they've been, what crew they're attached to. If there's a truck nearby the quarry and we need emergency, like, hey, we need a load of rock, who's right there. We don't have to make 6 phone calls. Like, we can, it really makes decision making, logistics and production on the trucking side. It makes it really easy to manage and make adjustments on the fly, things like that. So it's been a huge value. And also the software that's behind the GPS trackers really helps, it helps immensely set up the maintenance programs with them. So you can add in different, your oil changes, your fluid changes, your tires, all your general routine preventative maintenance stuff. You set them up on a schedule in that software. So a certain amount of engine hours or a certain amount of mileage, it's telling you, hey, this truck 27 needs an oil change. So that's, one less thing that somebody has, a body, human being has to worry about, keep a log, keep a spreadsheet, track. It'll do all that for you. It also, we put, every time that truck does have a mechanical issue or we buy new tires or do an oil change, that costs money. So we were able to, log that, keep a maintenance record of that truck in the software program. And that also, not only allows us to track the maintenance schedule, how much, but is there, which one of these 6 trucks is costing us the most money and why? Like, do we have an issue with truck number 5? It cost us $7,000 in maintenance this year, and the other trucks are averaging about 2,000. Like, what's do we have a bad truck? Do we have a deeper issue with this truck that maybe we're not really fixing the problem that continues to throw this problem or whatever? So allows you to gather data to help make better business decisions from a maintenance mechanical standpoint on these trucks. And like I said, it really helps on the production logistics side of the business as well. So I mean, all the foremen, all the field foremen, office staff, if we've got to add a job, got a customer say we got time to do another job, or our truck's close to that job site, how quick can we get them there? Our foreman can see the trucks all day long. We got 6 trucks out there that we're sharing between 2 and 3 crews. So we don't, most days we have trucks that are assigned to the prep crew, we have trucks that are assigned to the paving crew, but at any point during the day, those crews, the foreman will talk, and we'll start sharing trucks. Just because you're running asphalt in the morning doesn't mean you're not going to go pick up a load of trash 2 in the afternoon, and then maybe go pick up a load of rock, and then now you're going to go pick up a load of mix too to finish the day, because that's just where you were in relation to our job sites and where the other trucks were that may not have been available. So it's
very cool.
Yeah.
So
saves a lot of time.
The GPS devices, I guess you just anchor that to the actual trucks, and therefore it's always on when it's moving. And so therefore, when you were talking about like the time for oil change and maintenance at certain mileage, you're not having someone that's having to track that manually. Like it's constantly going all the time. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
That's wow.
Yeah, and it's tracking. Like we know, you assign drivers to these, so who's driving the truck, and then and the driver knows it's in there too, and it's tracking speeding, it's tracking harsh driving, it's tracking harsh braking, certain unsafe or other driving habits or tendencies that lead to maintenance issues. You're driving the truck rough or hard or whatever, you're gonna that truck's gonna be breaking down or getting a little more wear and tear on it than it should be if we're not driving it properly, the way it was designed to be driven. So it keeps the drivers in check. And one cool thing is, this can usually lead to us saying, hey, we may have an issue with this truck. We've got trucks, it's tracking your miles. What kind of fuel mileage are you getting? We've got a truck that's really struggling. It's like, why are you driving too fast? Are you not driving? Like, are you using your gear pattern correctly? Are you driving the truck properly? Do you have it at the right RPMs? Like, why is your truck using way more fuel than your buddies over here? Right?
Wow. Talk about some advanced steps. That's great. That's great. So, cool, man. So I also, I think it was about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years ago now, that I don't even remember who had mentioned it to you, but you had noticed that your drivers were spending, your drivers and your crew were spending a lot of time at gas stations fueling up. I know you have a tank at your office, but how do you now handle your fuel and filling up for everybody?
Yeah, it's all done here at the yard, man. It's we've got on road and off road diesel fuel here. We do not have a gasoline pump, which I wish we did, because we still got your small equipment that you've got to get gasoline for, your rollers, your weed eaters, blowers, stuff like that. So we're still, yeah, we do luckily, right? I mean, less than a quarter mile from us, we do have a quick fuel station. So we're supposed to run down there and get our gasoline instead of, the convenience store, because that always turns into a 20-minute trip when 7 guys have to go inside, and that's
Sure.
7 guys on the clock's a few $100s an hour. So that's a $200 15-minute cigarette and soda pop stop every morning. And now you're starting your day at 8 instead of 7:15, which it may not sound like a big deal, and most employees don't understand that, but I mean the cost of that 45 minutes or whatever every day gets to be really big by the year. Not just the cost of what that stop costs in labor, but the cost of lost production, the cost of that 45 minutes,
crew morale,
6 days a week. That's 3.5 hours.
That's a lot of
a job. That's a job or two.
Yeah.
Potentially $15,000 worth of income we're not getting because Johnny forgot to bring his Marlboro Reds to work today.
Yep. Yeah,
that's dumb.
And the crew that didn't stop has been working for 45 minutes and upset that they don't have crew members. Yeah, there's a reason why we like culture.
You've got, and this isn't really related to trucking, but I'm just going to say, if you have got to get your guys, your crew members, buying their cigarettes, their lunch, their stuff they need for the day on the way to work. If they say, well, I'm gonna be late to work, then well, get up 10 minutes earlier, dude. Like now what we've done to help eliminate that, we provide water, we provide Gatorade, we provide an energy drink options, we give those to our crews. So every crew that go out gets a cooler full of drinks every day of the season, 225 days a year. Their drinks are provided, so they're not having to stop at the store. We provide ice, and then we've also got vending machines here. So if they want something a little different, a little nicer, whatever, they've got your Monsters and stuff like that. They can get that. We've got snacks. So we try to bring the convenience store, the gas station stop to here. I guess I'm gonna have to start stocking cigarettes in that thing too. So I think there may be some legalities to becoming a tobacco distributor,
right?
But I don't know who's really going to come check them. But
right. Well,
anyway, we try to bring the gas station here.
There you go. Yeah, talk about some side research, how to get that cigarette vending machine. But anyways, do you have
make some money doing that, man?
I guarantee it. Do you have a few more minutes to answer some questions about renting or leasing?
I got a few minutes, man.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to kind of dig into that, because I know a lot of people feel more comfortable with the potential option that they could be renting out if they are on the brink of needing it for their production and want that solidified plan, to have that truck if they need it. But if they do have the option to rent it out in other companies, where's kind of a starting point or a starting thought with renting out your trucks to other people and other companies?
Well, it was a no-brainer for us. I mean, like I said, I bought 2 and looking to buy another 2, which gives us 8. Certain times of the year, especially now, and there's especially right now and over the winter when we're not working at all. And then there will be, days and maybe some periods through the season where we don't need all 6 or 8 dump trucks. But I know I've got the credit and, the cash and the credit combined to go, invest and put these in our name and own and operate these trucks. And I know that the large contractors, the state and federal contractors that produce their own material, they're running 50 trucks short a day, every day. So I know those trucks are going to get paid for one or another, whether we're using them for our own crews and production or we're renting them out. It's a no-brainer. Absolutely.
I'm guessing
you got to understand your market. You got to understand, can't just say, oh, I'm going to buy these trucks and hope they get rented. You better know that they're going to get rented. You run into that with things like buying and owning a large milling machine too. Like there's a breaking point or market data, whatever, that suggests that we should own these or we should rent these, right? So
gotcha. So how do you establish like your hourly rates or your leasing terms and things like that? Because, you know, if you buy
Yeah.
this truck, you're going to need some paperwork. What are some of the key points in there, or steps that you would
Yeah.
recommend
Well,
taking?
you got to understand your true cost of ownership of that truck. Right now in Louisville market, it just went up $20 overnight per hour. We're up to about $110 an hour to rent a truck now here in Louisville. So, what's that cost of ownership? And, a little bit, there's not a huge amount of profit in trucking. Uh, People that make money in the trucking business own a fleet of trucks, kind of like people that go out and do snow removal, snow plowing. Like you're going out one or two, like you're just kind of pissing in the wind and breaking your stuff down and just paying the bills on it. If you want to start really generating some income, like some real revenue, like it's best to have, a fleet of trucks. To establish that rate, the reason it just spiked recently, I mean, fuel, it's, like I said, I was talking to you earlier, $4.56 a gallon this morning to buy fuel. So you've got the cost of ownership of the truck, which is I'll probably miss something, but I mean you're gonna get the point. It's your loan payment, it's your insurance payment, it's your preventative maintenance cost. This is annual cost. Start with an annual cost, and then you back it down to an hourly cost based on how many man hours that truck is going to be rented out. We can get into that formula. If anybody wants to know how to do all that, I'd be glad to help you do all that. We're not going to get into that today, because it's probably easier to show on paper than it is me explaining. But you got your payment, you got your insurance, you got your preventative maintenance, you got your anticipated, other like real maintenance, breakdown stuff. You've got in preventative maintenance is also, tires. You got a factor for wear and tear on the truck. You've got a driver to pay. You've got his fringe benefits, matching taxes, his labor burden, if you will, to cover. So you got to put all those. Probably, like I said, I missed maybe another one or two things, but there's all these things in. You figure out what that costs you for a season, for how many days that truck is going to operate, and then you divide it by how many days that truck's going to operate, and then you divide that down into how many hours does that mean per year that this truck's going to be out on the road. And that's where you get your hourly rate. And then there's usually, God, that $110, I bet there's, I don't know, maybe 10, 15% profit in there.
Gotcha. So basically just a good way to maybe supplement, but maybe not a recommended way unless you have all these things really thought out.
Yeah. And when I talk about the fleet, I mean, you start getting a fleet of trucks. What happens, you start getting some of those trucks, if you buy them intermittently, some of those trucks are going to be paid off now. So some of them are going to have, the loan is going to be almost paid off. You start getting these trucks paid for, or if you get to a point in your business where you're putting 50% down on these trucks instead of financing the whole cost of the truck, then you're starting to make some money, because that loan payment is such a big piece of that hourly rate, piece of that factor. So that's when you can start actually making some money.
I got you. Yeah. And just real quick, because I know you've got to get on here in a few minutes, but I just wanted to ask one last question on that. And that was how you balance the use of the trucks for your cruise needs and those you have committed to rent, especially when there are either weather or schedule changes.
Yeah. I mean, it's being grossly in tune with your schedule, with pre-planning and being scheduled a week or two out in front of yourself with your crews, and knowing and understanding your crews and understanding production rates and what each job is going to take from a trucking perspective. How many tons are we laying per hour, what you're backing into, how many trucks that job is going to call for. And if you got trucks left over, then you've got a truck I can I don't need to send out there today, and we like to work our guys. Like, we don't want our guys sitting home. We're not going to need 8 trucks every single day. So instead of sending, Scooby home for the day, he wants to go get an 8 or 10 hour, check for the day. So
Sure.
We keep him happy. We keep our guys, at least, getting that 40 hours we promised to them. And it's generally, it's at least, like I said, it's not making a ton of money, but it's at least paying for the cost. It's at least paying for the truck. It's paying for itself. So I don't look at those extra rental trucks necessarily, at least not yet, until maybe our fleet gets a little bigger, or these. I mean, our trucks are all within, there's none of them are older than 3 years old. So start getting these trucks paid off, then start making some sense on the rental side. But they're paying for themselves. It's allowing our guy to continue to work. We've got them when we need them, because we know there's a truck shortage in town. And we know, because there's a truck shortage in town, that we can rent them 7 days a week. So
yeah. If you can handle it. Yeah. If you can handle it, sounds like a major plus.
Yeah. If you can handle like I said, the financial side, the burden of, the debt, basically.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's get on with today's thought that won't stop. You've been dropping some knowledge on us, so I'll just go ahead and get mine out of the way here. Mine was actually a quote from the Saban and Belichick documentary from on HBO.
So good.
Yeah, I've watched it, I think, 4 times now. I mean, it's
How would you love to spend just go to like a dinner with those, like 2 hours,
right?
Just sit at a table with them.
Yeah, I would. I mean, just the amount of motivation and how many times they've had to do it with top class athletes, with all different kinds of personalities, with all different types of skill sets to come together and be successful that often. And it's great to hear them talk, because they live and breathe the sport. And it's just like to see that passion and the thought that goes behind it to get all the personalities and different people from the team working together. It's incredible. But the quote that was said about them, and it is: "The secret to all victory lies in the organization of the non-obvious," by Marcus Aurelius. And as far as the amount of work it takes to address even something new like trucking, even one truck and how to pay for that, and then getting into the renting and leasing out and stuff like that. I mean, there's a million topics like this within your own business, and it takes a lot to get up early, to stay awake, to stay motivated. To my wife said to me this morning, her cousin's coming in from out of town, and she said, what work do you have to do today? And I told her about the 3 days worth of work I wanted to get done today. And she said, I don't think you're going to have any time to hang out with us this weekend. And it wasn't a backhanded compliment or anything, but it was just a wake up, like, there are other important things. But really, you can tell if you can string together several mornings, several weeks of establishing a new rhythm and really taking the time to knock other things off the list besides what you're obligated to do, it feels like it can really help out. So that's my thought that won't stop, is first of all, that documentary on HBO about Belichick and Saban, but also that success in the non-obvious. But Kevin, you got a thought that won't stop today?
That's good stuff.
Thanks, man.
My thought that won't stop, and it's Kimberly, who's sitting here. She wanted to come watch this trucking episode. She wanted to watch it live and in the flesh instead of watch the recording. I was chatting to her about it before we walked in, and she said, she said, "Do you ever think about what is the foundation? What one thing is it? If you were to choose one thing that is the foundation, what is going to be the one thing that is the foundation for the success of ADC Paving in 2022?"
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah. And that thought's not going to stop. I'm going to figure that out. But now it is truly a thought that won't stop.
Yep.
And I got, it could be a lot of things. Is it communication? Is it trust? Is it integrity? Is it doing what you say you're going to do?
Right.
Could be a lot of it. It could be hundreds of things.
Yeah. My go-to is focus.
Focus.
If I have to pick one word to settle me down or try to get in the mode, it tends to be focus. But it's when you talk about, especially if it's for a year,
What is the
something
foundation
different
of this season? Especially, I mean, we've got a pretty unique situation here on our hands with bringing Texas and Kentucky together. You know, that I was on a job site. I circled everybody up yesterday. We were just, I'm forcing them to communicate with this. Like, we're gonna have some of these tough conversations. Like, everybody's getting along. It's fine. Like, it's looking like I thought it was gonna look. Everything, that retreat we did, and then going to NPE together, spending a week together in Charlotte, was very impactful for the growth and development of these two teams coming together. And I told him yesterday, we were in this group because somebody said, "Oh, it's Texas and Kentucky." It's like, this is the last time. It's the last time we're going to say Texas and Kentucky. I said, "What's your hat say?" It says ADC Paving. What's your shirt say? So we are ADC Paving. There is no more Texas and Kentucky. No, like, all right. And they were all like, "Yeah, you know,
maintenance is here."
Nice. Are they really? Nice.
Yeah.
I was like, "No, you're right." Like, and they all agree. They're like, "Yeah, this is stupid. That's ADC." Like, so.
Yeah.
But what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? You know, that's our unique situation this year is meshing our group of guys with this group of guys. Both groups are very talented and experienced and take a lot of pride in what they do. And with that, sometimes come egos. I asked all of them to set their little egos aside. Like, none of us need, like, let's put the egos down. Let's put our pride down. Let's put the same name on the front of the shirt on, and let's get to work.
Yes,
but what
sir.
is the one? What's the one thing that is going to be the foundational? There's going to be one thing that's going to be the bottom of the pyramid. That's going to be the foundation that holds it all up.
Stay tuned to ADC Instagram and stuff, because you're going to see one word coming up here within the next few weeks.
Ooh, yeah. Keep me on that.
I will. And also, I just watched Miracle last night, and they where they were skating after the movie, or at the end of one of the matches, and Micah Ruziani, USA, and the practice.
Go.
Yep. See you. Anyways, this has been thank you everybody for joining us on the Pave It Forward podcast, where we look to help leaders in the paving industry who are looking to run more efficiently, meet their ideal customer, and improve the lives of those around them through meaningful work. Thanks for listening, everybody.